Welcome. In front of me is a POCO X3 Pro, and today I'll show you a couple tweaks and tricks you can do on this phone. So starting off, we're going to begin with something that should have been enabled by default, which is the 120 Hz display. For some reason, by default, it is set to the typical 60. So if you want to change it, let's go to the settings, display, and scroll down to refresh rate and change it to 120. Now, one thing that I really like from Xiaomi is their inclusion of this animation. It's in several different places for different options, which gives you a really good understanding on what the actual higher refresh rate does, because some people don't actually understand what it means. So this is a really good visual indication of the differences that it makes. And as you can see, the 60 frames ball kind of skips around. It doesn't really look smooth or anything, while 120 looks buttery smooth. Now this is a significantly exaggerated example of it. In reality, it's not that severe. But the option where you will see the most difference is, for instance, when you have settings open and you scroll up and down. With 120, this looks silky smooth. It's basically pleasant to look at, while at 60 Hz, it will be kind of choppy, not the most nice looking thing. And also, if you're looking at this video and kind of debating, it basically looks the same. What's the difference? I am recording right now at 60 Hz, so anything above that just gets lost. It's not really shown. You might be able to just kind of see the scrolling, that it's a little bit smoother, but the frame rate is not visible on the video. That is partially because I'm recording at 60, but even if I would be recording higher, YouTube doesn't support anything above 60, I believe, so it still wouldn't really do anything. So it's something that you want to test around yourself on your device, and trust me, it does make a difference. Now, another option I want to show is just the dark mode. Now, one thing again that Xiaomi does really nicely here is the inclusion of a scheduled dark mode. So during the daytime, you can have it in light mode, because let's be honest, during the daytime it is way easier to see stuff on the white background with the black text. But at night there is too much brightness going on, because you have every background is white. So during night, it's not very pleasant to the eye to have when you wake up the device and it blasts you with pure white light. So it's going to be way better to have it in dark mode. And so the inclusion of a scheduled option is just a really nice thing here. As you can see, you can also change the times at which it changes from light mode to dark mode. So that's also really nice. But if you're the type of person that just prefers to have it always on light or dark mode, you can just simply choose from here which one you prefer. Now, moving further to another option, it's going to be the full screen display. Now, this is how Xiaomi calls it, but basically what it's actually should be called is just gesture navigation. And majority of the devices have this nowadays, but I believe Xiaomi didn't really give you the option throughout the setup. I might be incorrect or not remembered correctly. But basically, if you have the buttons and you want to get rid of them, or maybe the other way around, you already have the gesture navigation, but you're not too fond of it, to change it, all you need to do is go into additional settings, right here, choose full screen display, and you have the two options right on top. So buttons or full screen gestures. I'm not going to be learning it now. So as you can see, once you enable it, it removes the buttons from the bottom. Also, if you go home, as you will see, it shifts the apps a little bit down, giving you a little bit more space on your home screen. And if you have never used these gestures, then let me give you a quick guide on it. As you can see, there's a little bar. Completely disregard its existence. It means nothing, because if you want to go home or access your recent applications, you don't want to try to grab the bar and swipe it up. That's the way you get it incorrectly, where it just sometimes responds, sometimes doesn't. So to get it always correct, so the gesture is always recognized, what you want to do is basically start the swipe up from off of the screen. As you can see, screen begins somewhere here. Have my finger below that, and when you swipe up, it always will recognize it. So quick swipe is to go home, swipe and hold is to go to resend, and then if you swipe from either side, it's basically the back gesture. As you can see, it shows up this arrow from either side, and this is just the back. So if I'm somewhere like in here, I want to go page back, there we go. So really nice way to navigate to the device. Now moving on to the next option, it's going to be the split screen, and this can be accessed by going into the recent applications. And when you find the application open right here, hold it. This will bring up this little panel on the side, and we have a couple different options right here. We can lock the app. This will prevent the app from being closed off. So if I do it right now just to showcase what I mean, let me first open a couple different things. There we go. So once you have opened several apps, the ones that are locked, when you do the clear option right here, it will close every app but the ones that are locked. Now going back to the split screen, it's the middle option right here. So when you tap on it, it will open up the first application that you open in split screen on the top. And from there you can, for instance, go home and find another app that you want to split screen with, like so. And now you can use two different apps at the same time. You can also resize it if you want to. Now this does work really well with YouTube. So you could open up YouTube, for instance, on top, and then continue to use Chrome at the bottom without having your whatever you're listening to or watching being paused. So I highly recommend this. There we go. So moving on to the last option, which I will just kind of have to show you in the settings. I won't be able to really demonstrate it because it would require me to receive a notification, which I probably won't, is the floating windows. Now for some reason right here Xiaomi decided to remove the option to enable floating windows anytime you want. So meaning on some devices when you hold it, it would have floating window as an option between here. So right under the split screen or above it, I don't exactly remember. But as you can see, we don't have it here. So the only way to open up floating windows is when you actually get a notification from an app, and that will allow you to open that floating window. And just to show you how it exactly looks like, what you're looking for and how to use it, I'm going to navigate to special features where I can kind of showcase it. So as you can see, floating windows, and it shows it right here. So when you get a notification like this, what you can do is simply drag it down and this will open up the floating window. You can move it around, shrink it if you want to. If you go home, it will minimize it to this kind of tiny little window, which you can interact with later on to make it bigger, which is a really nice way because a floating window will open up over other apps that you have been using. So as an example, if you're listening to music, you get a notification, you pull it down and YouTube is still open in the background, but you can now, for instance, type a text to someone, send it, and then quickly get rid of it and still be in the app that you were before. So it's a really handy option. Now that being said, this would conclude all the tweaks and tricks that I wanted to share with you. And if you found this very helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.